Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Anything Bowl, Anything Goes. My name is Miguel.
I'm Brendan.
Brendan, what are we talking about?
We're talking about Mad Max, not Max himself.
Not Max.
Talking about Furiosa.
A Mad Max Saga. What a title, first of all.
Yeah.
We were going to play a game
Yes.
called Guess the Budget, and then the loser takes the shitty shot of tequila.
Yeah. I
You
took
already
that shot.
you already took the shitty shot of tequila.
What's the new punishment?
Chug a beer.
Chug a beer.
Chug a beer.
I only have tall boys of IPA. That's not chugging beer.
I feel like that's the most 25-year-old thing you could say. It'd be like, man, all I have are these fucking IPAs in my fridge. What am I supposed to do with that? For context, you've seen a bunch of the Mad Max movies.
Yeah.
I have only seen Fury Road because I've never had the want or the drive to do it. The only reason I saw this actually is because
Wait, what did you say? Sorry, I just said yeah.
You've seen the other Mad Max movies.
Not at all. Not one. I saw Mad Max when it came
Fury
out
Road?
because Isaiah wanted to go see it, and I went, or maybe
Fury
it was
Road
you.
was so good.
And
We
I
saw
went,
it
what
in
the
theaters.
fuck
I
is
think I
this
remember.
movie?
Yeah.
And because I saw that one, I was more interested in this one.
The only reason I wanted to see this is, one, because Chris Hemsworth genuinely looked kind of funny in the trailers, and two, Charlize Theron was fucking great in that movie, and I wanted to know why they recasted her. Spoiler alert, they made her worse. You know what we could do? You want to guess the length of the movie?
Yeah.
Because it felt
like a fucking year.
How long was the movie?
Can I at least get a hint of whether the feel was accurate to the length?
It was close.
Okay, so I'm going to go with 2:15.
2:30. Really? Well, what did you think it was?
I thought it was 2:30, but you said close, so I dropped it down 15
No,
minutes.
to me it felt like a 3-hour movie because it just kept on fucking going.
Oh, no.
Honestly, I say this every week. My honest, quick review opinion, if you really just want to watch a 1-minute YouTube video and then fucking click off, I didn't like it.
I did.
It's grown on me, and there's parts that I liked, but I think on the whole, especially it came out of the theater, I was just like, it didn't grip me.
I understand why, because we talked about it, but I'll let you touch on that shortly. The reason why this movie, I loved it as much as I did, I don't remember Mad Max Fury Road at all. I remember the plot points. I remember
it's just a lot of driving in a straight line.
And I remember some of the iconic moments, but as a whole, I don't really remember a lot of the details in the movie or whatever went on. So
I just remember a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff.
I'm familiar with the universe, so going into this, I knew what I needed to know to understand everything, but I didn't remember whatever. So I kind of went into this almost as a standalone film, but I knew the backstory. So I didn't really compare it to Fury Road at all because I really don't remember it, and because of that,
in a vacuum of an action movie.
I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that it was a great action movie, a great Mad Max movie, or anything like that because I have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
But as far as what I saw as a standalone thing, the world building that they did was incredible.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth was
surprisingly good.
Amazing. Furiosa with her 30 lines that somehow felt less than those 30.
100%.
Anya
Taylor-Joy was only actually in half the movie.
So overall, I actually had a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it, and I'm probably going to watch that movie again.
So I'm doing this new thing when we go to the movies or when we watch something. And now it's because when it comes to us reviewing stuff, it's always been funny and just random throw it at the wall shit. But now I'm taking mental notes.
Yeah. Oh, I had them for a while, but it was
I'm
too
getting to the
harsh.
point
Now
where
I'm
I'm gonna
balanced.
sign them, write them down, and I'm gonna be like, guys, we gotta sit in the back because I gotta pull out my phone so I can write some stuff down. The mental note I took in this movie: in every genre of music, right, you have infinite subgenres. Like you can look at rock, but rock to you is actually classic rock, and then rock to me is alternative rock. But then alternative rock and classic rock would be like, oh man, it'll you look at heavy metal and there's hundreds of versions of heavy metal and they've all divulged from different artists and whatever. The same thing goes for genres in films, and I believe that action movie is really an umbrella term, and in that you have fan service action or otherworldly action, kind of like the Marvel movies, where it doesn't make sense. It's just action and it's just a bunch of pretty colors and lights in your face, and you're like, all right, you have.
Yeah, I'm going to call that Marvel action for
Marvel
now on, just
action.
because I feel like they invented that with the fan service and everything, kind of bundled into one.
And then you have John Wick action. John Wick, Atomic Blonde, all of the fast-paced fighting, single shots, but it's all just like Monkey Man, the same thing, even though we didn't see it.
That new Indian movie that we saw a trailer for that I have no idea what the fuck it was called.
Looks so fucking cool. Oh, it's called Kill.
Is it really?
Yes, remember?
No, I don't.
And then this to me is artsy action or artistic or overly artistic action, where this feels like something that George Miller wanted to show at the Cannes Festival. Yeah. And they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're not going to show that.
I love it because I don't think there's really a whole large section of this kind of genre. And every time I see it, it's more than welcome. And I think the visuals kind of helped a lackluster movie.
Yes.
And it fucking like, I remember a lot of these things looking similar to how the last one looked, but somehow he made this feel to me like a world in the bubble.
Yeah.
Simultaneously like a video game, the way that the cities were like, it almost felt like settlements in like a fucking Bethesda game or something.
Yeah, I can see it.
And it was just these colors that popped and everything.
Everything was the colors. The colors jumped, like everything felt so much more vibrant and more stimulating. Yes.
Yes.
Everything was much more in your face.
Except less neon.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you look at them side by side between this and like Fury Road, you're like, all right, man, I understand the comparisons, but they don't look anything alike.
Yeah.
Because everything is so much more in your face. The camera angles are so different.
The other one was dirtier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Fury Road was much more like Mad Max from the 80s, but we'll do it in 2015 and realism, grounded, whatever. And this was like, you guys have heard of Furiosa. Now you've heard of Thor the Red or Black Thor. Like, well, because he keeps naming himself different shits during the movie. So yes, the colors and everything felt very, that's the thing that made this, or had this set apart from the last one. I just like little things gripped me, right? Some of the action points were great. Most of everything that Chris Hemsworth did, because he was so over the top, that's where I was like, all right, man, this movie's fucking fun. This is whatever. I'm totally fucking down for it. But then it would be like, it would slow down to a halt.
I didn't feel that at all.
Well, maybe not a halt, but for me, at least maybe it's the gripping was less when it focused on Furiosa, because I just didn't enjoy Anya Taylor-Joy.
Because she didn't speak, so you didn't connect with the character.
It's not even that. I think it's just the way it was acted, and maybe it's because I was looking for, because part of the conversation that Timmy and I had was, she's a frail-looking, small, mousy white girl.
Yeah.
And they're just like, no, but look, even she could be strong, because they refuse to be like, oh, well, maybe, you could be like a strong, physically strong woman, whatever. So I was just like, she doesn't look or feel like the character that she's playing.
No.
Like
I would give you that maybe she could be the younger version, but the fact that they ended this film as the last one started, really just like, she walked out a door, aged 20 years, and turned into Charlize Theron. Like, what happened?
Yeah, and then like Immortan Joe?
Yeah, looked like a baby.
He looked like a baby, and then supposedly
Baby
they're
Joe.
like, oh, yeah, that she walks inside with a peach, and then she gives him the peach, and then it's the next movie, and you're like, hold on a second. Immortan Joe is a really big, fat, dying dude in the last one, and now he's a thin little man.
Yeah, in shape. He's in his prime, even though it happens a day later. Like, I know some of the earlier parts, obviously he should have looked like that, but as it went on, he wasn't thin. I'm not going to call him thin.
No, but he was substantially different than how he was, because in the last one he was like, I'm dying.
But I don't think he was fat, was he?
He was bigger, yeah.
Oh, okay. Once again, it's been a while since I've seen that one.
Good movie. Honestly, not as good as
probably should have rewatched it for this, but
some people will be like, this is the greatest action movie of all time. I get where they're coming from. I don't agree with it.
Because they're wrong?
I get it. No comment.
I can see what you're saying with Anya Taylor-Joy. She's not a very intimidating woman.
No.
So she's probably not the best for this role. I enjoyed the kind of...
And it's not that I don't like her as an actor. As an actor, she's great in general. Mm-hmm. Most of the stuff, like The Menu, she was in Dune, everything I've seen her in,
I love her in, yeah.
In this, though, especially when she got that bald cap on and her head's like a completely different shape, not a big fan.
It's always fun when someone has long hair and they're still like, we're just gonna make this bald cap work.
Yeah. And they're like, no, don't worry, it looks perfect. And then their head is just like
fucking look like Megamind. Yeah.
Or like the dwarf kid in the middle of the movie whose head is actually that shape.
Who I don't know if he was famous.
A big deal.
Or what,
I don't know.
I don't. I saw memes before it came out. There was like, oh, here's his role. Here's behind the scenes of him, and I'm like, who is he?
The small kid in Furiosa.
That was a man.
That's a man?
That's a man.
Who is the small kid? Do I have to be derogatory to Google?
No, that's not the
right
right
this.
word.
I tried. Listen. Okay, I'm going to be derogatory.
Who was the midget?
I was going to say, I got to make a derogatory comment, and I'm sorry, okay? I said, who is the small person in Furiosa? And they said, oh, young Furiosa. I went, no. Okay, Google, fine. I said, who is the midget in Furiosa? And they went, oh, it's Immortan Joe. I was like, that is not the midget. But if you go to the images, it's just the screenshot of the guy, okay? So you know what I'm talking about.
I'm just saying it because of the Love Guru when he's looking at Vern and he's just like, you are a midget.
I find that term condescending.
And It's such a good movie. It's a good movie. We stand by it.
Everybody needs. This is a podcast off the rails already. Okay, this is why we can't take shots before the podcast. Okay, that's what this means. Last week's video did so good. Thank you, by the way,
beers.
because it was just simple beer. This one, you're like, all right, let's break out the tequila. Let's take a shot at the tequila, and then let's talk about the midget in Furiosa. And I'm clicking on links and I can't find his fucking name.